Okay, so today we're going to be looking at lesson 2.8, and this is all about adjusting quotients, which we've been doing like throughout chapter 2 as we've been dividing. So hopefully it's just a quick review, but it is nice to talk about it explicitly just in case you have any questions. So let's just jump right in. Here our story problem is a new music group makes 6,127 copies of its first CD. The group sells 75 copies of the CD at each of its shows. How many shows does it take the group to sell all of the CDs? So this is a division problem because we know how many copies of the CD they have in total. We know how many they sell at each of its shows, and we want to know how many shows does it take, right? So we need to find out the number of groups. Now here they have said, let's use the estimate of 90. So let's just try 9 tens. So we're going to start off by putting a 9 in the tens place, right? It makes sense. We can't divide 6 by 75. We can't divide 61 by 75, but we can make groups of 75 out of 612. So 9 times 75 is 675. Now, when I look at this and I know that I have this number, 612, right? I'm going to compare that to 675. And 675 is greater than 612. So 9 is too large, right? I can't make 90 groups out of 75 if I only have 6,127. I would need at least 6,750. So because that's the case, I'm going to kind of now evaluate. I'm going to think to myself, how much bigger is 675 than 612? And 675 is about 60 more, right? If we just, kind of did some really quick subtraction, we could see that. And so instead of a 9, I am going to put in the next number down. And the next number down from 9 is the number 8. So let's see if this works. So 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 4 is 60. And so here we are, we have 600. Now, to find out if this works, we need to subtract. 612 minus 600. Well, 2 minus 0 is 2, and 1 minus 0 is 1, and 6 minus 6 is 0. So 12 works, right? Because I need to bring that number and I need to compare it to 75. And as long as 12 is less than 75, as long as whatever is left over is less than my divisor, then I'm good. All right, now to finish this problem off, we are going to bring down our 7. And now we need to figure out how many times will 75 go into 127. And I think it will only go in one time. So I'm going to multiply 75 times 1 is 75. 5 minus 7 is 2. And 7 minus 5 is 2. And 12 minus 7 is 5. Now 52 is a really big remainder, but we're dividing by a pretty big number in 75. And so that is okay. So it will take the band, let's see, 81 shows. They'll sell 75 CDs, but then they'd have 52 left over. So it would really take them 82 shows in order to sell them all so that they could make sure that they sell that remainder of 52. Let's take a look at a couple more. All right, so here, let's see, dividing 336 by 48, and they are doing an estimate using compatible numbers, right? They turned 48 into 50, which makes sense. It's pretty close to that. And 300 is a number close to 336 that is a multiple of 50, and they got 6. So we're going to try using the estimate of 6. Well, 6 times 48 is 288. So let's subtract this. And I'm going to make it just a little bigger. So 336 minus 288. See, that becomes 16, and that's a 2. 16 minus 8 is 8. I have to do a little more regrouping. 12 minus 8 is 4. 2 minus 2 is 0, right? So if I have 6 if my estimate is 6 and I do my subtraction, it leaves me with 48. Well, I'm dividing by 48. So because these two numbers are equal, right, I can make more than 6 groups. Instead, I could make one more group. I could make 7, right? And I don't necessarily even need to do the multiplication for that because I know that 48 goes into 48 just one more time, right? So just kind of an idea. But we will go ahead and do the division so that you can see it, right? So 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 4 is 28. And 28 plus 5 is 33, right? And so that leaves me with 0. So my answer is 7, right? Because remember, when my estimate was 6, right, that left me with 48, which meant I could make one more group, and exactly one more group because 48 is equal to 48. Okay, here we are. We're going to take a look at this one. Here we have 2,831 divided by 34. They've given me my first estimate number of 9 in the tens place. So 9 times 10 is 306. So think about it. Is this too big or too small? And hopefully you recognize right away it's too big, right? 300s is greater than 200s. So 9 is too big. So instead of 9, right, let's start over and let's try the number. Let's see, why doesn't it give me my pen? There we go, right? Let's try the number 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 3 is 24, plus that is 27. So we get 272. Let's double check and make sure this works. 3 minus 2 is 1. 8 minus 7 is also 1. 11 is less than 34. And so we are good to go. Now we would bring down our 1. And we need to try to figure out how many times is 34 going to go into 111. Well, I'm going to look at the 3 here at the front of 34. And I'm going to think, how many times does 3 go into 11? And I know that it goes in 3 times. So I'm going to give that a try. So 3 times 4 and 34 is 12. I carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1, and that is 10. So 102 is less than 111, so that's good. Now, let's see. 11 minus 2 is 9. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So here we get an answer that is 83 remainder 9. So when we are dividing, we have to pay attention to a few things. The first thing we have to pay attention to is when we multiply, is the number that we get, so in this case 34 times 8 is 272, is that less than the number we're trying to subtract it from, right? And in this case 272 is less than 283, so that works. The second piece of this, right, is that after we subtracted and we got the number 11, we need to compare that to our divisor. Is 11 less than 34? And the answer here is yes, it is. Now, if it wasn't less than 34, then that would mean we could make another group at least. But in this case, we did a pretty good job with our math and it all worked out. So keep an eye on those two pieces when you are doing your division. Give lesson 2.8 here a try. And if you have any questions, let me know.